Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Monday at noon and is uploaded to our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page to watch on demand. No joke, today is April 1st, 2019. And now the news at noon.
According to the Cortez Journal, heavy snow is tough going for wildlife in the winter months, and as a consequence this year, wildlife officials fear there will be higher than normal die-off of elk calves this spring. Elk spend the summer months fattening up in the high country of the San Juan Mountains around November. The forage starts to disappear, and the animals must rely on and conserve their stored energy to survive the harsh winter months. Most elk in the region, about 75%, tend to migrate down to lower elevation where there's less snow and it's easier to move around, Weinmeister said. A tracking study found that elk in the mountains around Pagosa Springs head south towards Navajo Reservoir or areas around the Jicarilla Apache Nation Reservation near Dulce, New Mexico. Herds in the high country around Durango were found south of U.S. Highway 160 between Bayfield and Durango, but even these lower elevation areas received a good deal of snow this winter, which means elk burn more calories moving around and trying to survive. The herds can burn up so much energy, Weinmeister said, that they can't recover even when food sources start greening up. It's around this time that the gas tank dries out, he said.
From the Journal, file photo, Mancos resident Casey D. Larson, who led local law enforcement agencies on a 50-mile high-speed chase that injured officers, faces 32 criminal charges, including multiple attempted first and second-degree murder charges. Larson, age 59, appeared in Montezuma County District Court last Thursday on an advisement hearing in front of District Court Judge Doug Walker. He's being held in the Montezuma Detention Center on a $1 million bond. Charges filed by 22nd District Attorney Will Furse are 6 counts of attempted first-degree murder, 6 counts of attempted second-degree murder, 6 counts of menacing, 2 counts of vehicular assault, 6 counts of vehicular eluding, and 6 counts of obstructing a peace officer. Larson was charged with attempted first-degree murder and attempted second-degree murder for each of the 6 law enforcement officers he allegedly threatened with his vehicle. Larson's public defender, John Moran, asked District Judge Doug Walker for time to review the charges and advise his client. The case was continued until April 4th at 9 a.m. for advisement of charges and to schedule a preliminary hearing. Potential sentences also will be presented during advisement. The charges stem from a wild March 10th chase that began in Dolores County on the West Fork Road and continued through Dolores and Mancos as he approached the eastern edge of Cortez. Dolores County Sheriff deputies attempted to stop Larson in connection to a reported burglary in the area, but he fled in his silver Chevy van. At the highway bridge in Dolores, Larson allegedly swerved at 2 Montezuma County deputies who were attempting to lay down spike strips, according to court documents. The deputies jumped off the bridge and sustained broken bones. Deputy recruit David Martin, age 22, suffered compression fractures in his back and shattered his left ankle, Furse said. He will be off duty for some time. Deputy John Haynes, age 45, suffered a fractured tibia in his leg. He is unable to perform his law enforcement duties. Upon approaching Mancos on Colorado Highway 184, Larson allegedly swerved into the traffic lane of Mancos Marshal Justin Goodall, nearly hitting him head-on, according to court records. He then jumped the median in town, drove into oncoming traffic, and reportedly nearly struck a Colorado State Patrol officer who was on foot deploying spike strips. The chase ended in the 32,000 block of U.S. Highway 160 just east of the Montezuma County Fairgrounds after a Colorado State Patrol trooper took the lead in the pursuit. According to court reports, Trooper Gabe Watkins stopped the van with a, quote, tactical vehicle intervention. The 12 attempted murder charges pertain to Larson's alleged threatening driving behavior towards Montezuma County deputies Martin and Haynes, Mancos Marshal Goodall, Colorado State Patrol officers Tanya Cohen and Gabe Watkins, and Cortez Police Officer Glenn Edwards. Menacing charges also relate to Larson's driving behavior against the law enforcement personnel, and the 2 vehicular assault charges pertain to Larson's alleged actions against Martin and Haynes. Separate counts for eluding and obstructing a peace officer were added for each law enforcement official involved in the pursuit and arrest of Larson. At the court hearing, Larson appeared in beige prison garb and glasses and sat quietly while listening to the procedures. He was not asked to address the court and briefly conferred with his attorney.
From the Cortez Journal, the Missionary Ridge rockfall is on the move. In the past couple of days, several thousand tons of mud and debris have come down the mountainside to the Animas Valley floor, said Butch Knowlton, director of La Plata County Office of Emergency Management. As a result, up to 10 feet of mud, silt, and rock have buried East Animas Road, County Road 250, which has been closed since Friday. 3 cars have tried to drive around the barricade on East Animas Road, but immediately become stuck, he said. 5 to 10 homes sit below the rockfall area, but none were in immediate danger as of Tuesday. On July 5th, 1998, a massive rockfall carrying boulders the size of houses came tearing down Missionary Ridge, according to the Durango Herald Archives. An estimated 50,000 cubic meters of rock broke away from the cliff, falling 600 feet and cutting a swath 200 feet wide. The scar remains a prominent landmark in the eastern side of the Animas Valley, north of Durango. The bulk of debris settled in the upper part of the hillside and didn't come close to any homes. Around 2005, however, mudslides started oozing down the hillside, frequently closing East Animas Road, sometimes for days and weeks. The debris pile is triggered in 2 ways, either by a sudden heavy downpour that quickly carries rock and mud in a sort of flash flood, or through the slow process of snowmelt, which gets into rock formations and breaks apart weak layers, carrying larger debris with it. It's this latter process that is responsible for this week's debris flow, which causes the mud to flow like lava, Knowlton said. The consistent, heavy snowfall that hit southwest Colorado this winter is slowly starting to melt as temperatures rise. Saturday night, several thousand tons of rock and mud came down the hillside, though it did not reach the road, Knowlton said.
Reported in the Journal, photo Jim Mimiaga. A financial recovery effort at Southwest Memorial Hospital is gaining momentum, officials said during a public forum last week. About 40 citizens and hospital staff attended the quarterly joint board meeting between the Montezuma County Hospital District and Southwest Health System, the nonprofit corporation that operates the hospital. Southwest Health CEO Tony Sudduth presented a financial update on the encouraging results of an aggressive recovery effort that began after the public was notified in May of last year that the hospital was in danger of failing. In July, SHS hired Community Hospital Corporation, which brought in a team of executives who specialize in financial recovery. The turnaround began in August with 40 layoffs and a restructuring plan. Officials said that while painful for the community, the reduction in staff positions was needed because labor costs were far outstripping patient revenues. Southwest was overstaffed when compared with hospitals of similar size and market, Sudduth said. Through layoffs and attrition, staffing dropped from 461 in January of 2018 to 399 today. The downsizing of staff, reduced benefit packages, and less contract labor saves the hospital $8.4 million per year, Sudduth said, and, quote, places us back in a positive financial position. Sudduth said that, as promised, when permanent positions came open, laid-off workers were considered first, and 17 were hired back. SHS's cash position was improved and hasn't been improved, going from 15 days worth in August to 37 days this month. SHS is required to keep 81 days of cash on hand, about $13 million. It takes $165,000 per day to operate the hospital. Sudduth said they are on track to reach 50 days cash by year's end, a target required under a forbearance agreement with lenders. Patient revenues and profits are also on the rise. The first 6 months of 2018 showed a $2.5 million loss compared with the past 6 months, which showed a $1.2 million in net gains.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, southwestern Colorado needs more than $470 million to improve roads, but an effort to use surplus tax money to cover those costs will fall far short of the region's needs. This year, Colorado expects $64.8 million in surplus revenue, and House Speaker Casey Becker, Democrat of Boulder, hopes to claim it for state education and transportation budgets. In November, voters rejected ballot measures that would have boosted budgets for both. But if passed, the refund would barely cover Colorado's $7.1 billion backlog in transportation and infrastructure projects. Instead, cities would be left to raise money through local tax hikes. And in rural Colorado, where populations are smaller, poorer, and less inclined to raise taxes, transportation issues likely will languish. Southwest Colorado's roads, which tend to be older and more remote, are particularly at risk, said Miriam Gilla-Wiles, Executive Director of the Southwest Colorado Council of Governments. And now, let's take a look at the weather.
Looking at the national weather map from NOAA, rain is possible for the southeast Monday and for the Atlantic coast by Tuesday as a coastal low develops. Rain and mountain snows will spread across the northwest and into the northern central Rockies, while a strong high pressure is prevalent across Texas and the southwest. Our regional outlook states isolated rain and snow showers will occur this afternoon and tonight across the eastern Uinta Mountains and into northwest Colorado. No significant snow accumulations are expected through tonight. A series of Pacific storms will bring a chance for rain and snow showers each day in the region. Isolated afternoon thunderstorms will also be possible with small hail and gusty winds expected. So what does that look for us here at the local DCTV 5-day outlook? Today mostly sunny with a high near 49 degrees, south winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming west-southwest in the afternoon. Tonight mostly cloudy with a low around 33, southwest winds remain low and steady 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming east-southeast in the evening. And then Tuesday into Wednesday is our 20% chance for isolated showers starting possibly in the afternoon. Mostly cloudy with a high near 54, southeast winds 5 to 15. Tuesday night it increases just to a 30% chance of rain showers before 4 a.m. and then a chance of rain and snow showers. Mostly cloudy with a low around 36, south-southeast winds continue at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Wednesday we increase further to a 50% chance of rain and snow showers before 10 a.m. and then a chance of rain showers. Some thunder is also possible. Mostly cloudy with a high near 52, south winds around 10 miles an hour, switch to west-northwest in the afternoon. Wednesday night that system moves out as our weather becomes partly cloudy with a low around 32 degrees. Thursday mostly sunny with a high near 58 degrees. Thursday night mostly cloudy and a low to 36. Friday partly sunny with a high near 60 degrees. Friday night partly cloudy with a low around 36. And Saturday again mostly sunny with a high near 59. Saturday night partly cloudy with a low around 35. And now back to the news.
From the Cortez Journal, New Mexico wildlife managers will be setting up roadblocks statewide during the upcoming hunting and fishing season to gather harvest data and to look for people who are violating state wildlife laws. The next season starts Monday, and the state Game and Fish Department says all hunters and anglers are required to purchase a new license. Guides and outfitters also must register with the state. At the roadblocks, conservation officers also will be checking the compliance with the Off-Highway Motor Vehicle Act, and drivers of those vehicles hauling wood will be asked to show their permits under the Forest Conservation Act. The agency also is asking people to report any wildlife crimes or suspected crimes to the Operation Game Thief toll-free hotline or online.
From the Journal, AP report and photo. Federal legalization of hemp arrived in the U.S. late last year and expanded an industry already booming because of the skyrocketing popularity of CBDs, a compound in hemp that many see as a health aid. But now, just a few months after Congress placed the marijuana look-alike squarely in safe legal territory, the hemp industry has been unsettled by an unexpected development. Truckers, now free to haul hemp from state to state, have been stopped and sometimes arrested by police, who can't tell whether they have intercepted a legal agricultural crop or the biggest marijuana bust of their careers. That's because the only way to distinguish hemp and marijuana, which look and smell alike, is by measuring their tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC, and officers don't have the testing technology to do so on the spot. Marijuana, illegal under federal law, has enough THC to get users high. Hemp has almost none at 0.3% or less than under U.S. government standards, yet drug-sniffing dogs will alert on both. Field tests that officers now use can detect THC, but aren't sophisticated enough to specify whether a shipment is legal hemp or low-grade illegal pot. In a sign of the significance of the problem, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration earlier this month put out a request for information on private companies that might have the technology for field tests sensitive enough to distinguish between hemp and marijuana. Nobody wants to see someone in jail for a month for the wrong thing, DEA spokeswoman Barbara Carino said. To enable us to do our job, we have to have something that can help us distinguish. It's an unanticipated hiccup for the rapidly growing hemp industry, which relies on interstate trucking to transport hemp from farms to processing labs that extract the compound cannabidiol, or CBD, from the raw plant material. The pure CBD powder is then resold for use in everything from makeup to smoothies to pet food. Kentucky and Oregon are big producers of hemp, and much of what they grow is processed in Colorado. Companies that transport the plant often drive through Oklahoma and Idaho, which is where some arrests have occurred. Hemp remains illegal under Idaho law, and lawmakers there are scrambling to pass a legalization bill. Law enforcement agencies are urging them to include guidance on field tests. To further complicate the issue, states that already have their own hemp programs must have them approved by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which could take months. The hope is that the USDA will work quickly to create rules for validating hemp shipments that local law enforcement could use instead of relying on THC field tests, such as state agricultural certificates or lab certificates. That way, police could let a suspicious load through without arrest, and if the hemp samples come back high in the THC from testing done in a lab setting, authorities could pursue the grower or shipper after the fact.
From the Cortez Journal, the push to elevate a vast expanse of shifting white sand dunes in New Mexico to national park status was renewed Tuesday as members of the state's congressional delegation reintroduced legalization aimed at boosting the profile of the already popular tourist destination. The monument sees hundreds of thousands of visitors every year, more than any other Park Service location in New Mexico. In 2017, White Sands logged more than 600,000 visits and spurred more than $31 million in spending for the local economy. The federal legislation, first introduced last year by U.S. Senator Martin Henrich, comes as New Mexico formalizes its effort to join other western states in tapping into the lucrative outdoor recreation industry. State lawmakers recently passed, and the governor is expected to sign, a measure that calls for the creation of a dedicated division in state government that would focus on expanding outdoor recreation and related economic development. Acknowledging competition from neighboring Colorado, Arizona, and Utah, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham has said that New Mexico has just as much natural beauty and can be a beacon for people looking to explore.
From the Journal photo, Erica Alvaro. A business move is set to happen in the next month in Cortez when the Dolores-based Fun Center moves into the space that has been occupied by Shooters World on the east side of Cortez. The move comes as Shooters World looks to downsize, and the Fun Center is seeking a more visible location. Quote, "We're expecting it to be busier is our hope," said John Muller, the Fun Center's manager. "Being closer to Cortez, it'll be a little bit more convenient for people to swing by on their lunch break or come by after work, not have to make a special trip to Dolores to pick up something." Both businesses plan to reopen in their new spots at the end of April or early May. The Fun Center is a motorsports store with a site in Durango in addition to Montezuma County. Shooters World is a gun shop. Shooters World has been operating off U.S. Highway 160 just west of Cliff Rose Garden Center and Gifts. The business is moving to 1740 East Main Street next to Tequila's Mexican restaurant. According to owner Chandra Miner, they are moving to a smaller site as a way to cut costs. The business announced the move on their Facebook page on March 2nd, a day after the sale was finalized, according to the Post. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives approved the move on February 28th, the Post also stated. According to Reuters News Service, citing data released by the National Shooting Sports Foundation in January, gun sales were down 6.1% in 2018, decreasing from 14 million in 2017 to 13.1 million last year. The decline has been called a, quote, Trump slump, attributed to decreasing fears of gun control laws. The Dolores Fun Center, which sells and maintains ATVs, snowmobiles, and motorcycles, has been looking to shift spots over the past few months, according to Mueller. The majority of their customers come from Cortez. They hope the move will keep business local, with customers staying in Cortez instead of traveling to the Fun Center in Durango, he added. The moving process will start in the upcoming week, Mueller said. They plan on redoing the building somewhat to match their business. Quote, "We're going to try to make it more of a storefront and less of a warehouse-looking building, like where we are now," he said. A grand opening is expected to happen at some point after the Fun Center opens in Cortez.
From the Cortez Journal, the Mancos Public Library recently received $2,500 from the El Pomar Foundation to replace the site's phone system. The phone replacement is of an urgent nature, said Sherry Dunn, manager of development and adult programming at the library. Communication to and from the library has become increasingly difficult. The total cost of the replacement is $6,000, Dunn said. The Mancos Public Library officially opened in 1946, though it has migrated throughout town over the past decades. The collection has been housed in sites including the Old Town Hall, the high school basement, and 111 North Main Street. In 2009, the library opened the doors at its current location at 211 West 1st Street, using a cobbled-together mismatch of phone system, Dunn said, with handsets that had been salvaged from a tech company and the city of Cortez. Now, however, replacing the 10 phones and accompanying systems is a top priority, and the library is seeking ways to secure the remaining $3,500 needed. El Pomar was founded in 1937 and contributes about $22 million annually to nonprofit organizations throughout Colorado. At the Board of Trustees' February meeting, the foundation also awarded grants to 2 other local nonprofits in addition to the Mancos Library, $10,000 to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southwest Colorado and $10,000 to Seeds of Learning, an early care and education center in Pagosa Springs.
And today's High Canyon Country happenings. Thursday, April 4th, the High Desert Devo Bike Bash will run from 6 to 8 p.m. at Cocopelli Bike and Board in Cortez. Come see what High Desert Devo is all about. Join them for a fun social night and fundraiser at the local bike shop. They'll have information available about their program practices, girls' rides, and the race season. Meet their awesome coaches and riders. There will be food, wine, and beer available for purchase, and all of the proceeds from this event will go towards supporting the middle and high school ride programs, paying and training awesome coaches, recruiting girls, and providing kids access to bikes. HDD is the only youth mountain bike program serving Cortez, Mancos, and Dolores. And Saturday, April 6th, the Tap Room at Wild Edge Brewing Collective in Cortez is having the Foggy Memory Boys with their genre-hopping acoustic 4-piece comprised of good old bluegrass instruments with a playful energy and a strong, melodically driven sound. It's a $5 cover charge, and they thank you for supporting local music. And the Four Corners Home and Garden Show is this weekend at the Montezuma County Fairgrounds. You can stop by the Girls Uprooted food booth. They'll be serving food Friday, April 5th from noon to 5 p.m. and Saturday, April 6th from 10 to 4. There are plenty of vendors and activities if home and garden is something you're interested in as we all get into our spring projects. And all of the happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, original stories, and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us by email dcbnnews@gmail.com, or you can call us at 970-677-4119.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is available online on our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page on demand.
Be sure to like us there on Facebook and join in on the news of our area. And of course, please share it with a friend.
For Kendra Koch with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Zove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.